Okay, so a lot of us know someone, or maybe it's you, who deals with chronic pain. It's just there. And you've probably heard that acupuncture can help. But the real story of how it works, it's way more fascinating than most people think. It's a journey deep inside our own biology. So let's get into it.
This is the big question, right? It seems kind of crazy. How can this tiny little needle, placed in just the right spot, have such a huge impact on something as powerful as chronic pain? Well, let's peel back the layers and see what's really happening under the skin.
Now, the explanation you've probably heard a million times is endorphins. You know, the body's natural painkillers get released, you feel better. End of story. And look, that's true. It's definitely part of it. But what if I told you that's just scratching the surface?
What if the real magic of acupuncture isn't just about what it adds, like endorphins, but about what it awakens? Yeah. New science has uncovered this incredible, deeper mechanism that we've been overlooking. And it's all about putting out a raging fire inside your own body.
That's right. We're talking about inflammation. For a ton of chronic pain conditions, what acupuncture is really doing is targeting and shutting down the source of the problem. It's not just blocking the pain, it's putting out the fire.
And this is such a key idea to grasp. With a lot of chronic pain, the inflammation isn't just a side effect of an injury. The inflammation is the injury. Your body's own defense system gets stuck in on mode, constantly causing damage and pain.
Okay, so let's take something like rheumatoid arthritis. It's a perfect example. Inflammatory cells basically invade the joint tissues. They release this chemical soup that does two things. It flips on your pain nerves, and then it actually rewires them to be extra sensitive. So even the smallest little movement can feel like agony.
Now, that sounds pretty bad, like your body is attacking itself. But here's the amazing part. Our bodies are smart. We have this super sophisticated built-in system to get that fire under control. You can think of it like your body's own internal fire department, ready to go at a moment's notice.
First, you gotta meet the cytokines. These are little messenger proteins, and their job is to run around screaming, "Fire! Fire!" when there's an injury. They're totally essential for healing. But if they never shut up, they just keep fueling the flames of chronic inflammation and pain. So who puts out the fire? Enter the hero of our story, the vagus nerve. This thing is an absolute superstar. It's like a biological superhighway connecting your brain to all your major organs. And one of its most important jobs is to be the emergency brake on inflammation.
And this is where it all comes together in what's called the inflammatory reflex. It's this beautiful, elegant loop. Your vagus nerve basically senses those cytokines screaming about a fire. It sends a message up to brain headquarters, which then calls the spleen and tells it to release a calming agent. That agent tells the immune cells, "Okay guys, false alarm, stand down." The body puts out its own fire. How cool is that?
So where does the little needle come in? Well, think of acupuncture as the master key. It doesn't just work on one thing. It activates this entire anti-inflammatory system, plus a few others, all at once.
It's basically a 1-2 punch. First, just the simple mechanical stimulation of that needle, the twisting and turning, wakes up those huge communication networks in your body, both hormones and nerves. And second, the needle creates this tiny controlled injury, a microtrauma, that basically kickstarts that local fire department we were just talking about into action right where it's needed most.
This diagram here shows you the whole shebang. That little needle sets off a huge chain reaction. It pings the body's stress response system, the HPA axis, and the autonomic nervous system, which you remember includes our hero, the vagus nerve. And the end result is this powerful, body-wide anti-inflammatory wave that ultimately dials down the pain. And this isn't just some cool theory on a slide. Knowing these biological mechanisms means that practitioners can make really specific, strategic choices to get the best possible results for their patients.
For instance, when you add a little bit of electricity to the needles, that's called electroacupuncture. The frequency you use really matters. A low frequency acts like a sniper, right? It targets that local inflammation right at the source. A high frequency is more like a shotgun, triggering a much broader, body-wide response. For that deep, nagging chronic pain, that precision sniper shot is often exactly what you need.
It's not just the electricity either. Even the type of needle is a tactical choice. A standard, super thin needle is all about that gentle sensory stimulation. But a specialized one, like this small knife needle, is designed to create a slightly bigger microtrauma, which in turn can trigger a much stronger local anti-inflammatory response. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job. And that microtrauma, it is surprisingly powerful. Get this, one study found that the tiny tissue disruption from an acupuncture needle increased the local concentration of a compound called adenosine by 24 times. Adenosine is a natural anti-inflammatory chemical your body makes, so you're getting a 24-fold dose of natural pain reliever made by your own body right at the site of the problem. That's incredible.
So, the big question, does this actually work for real people? Well, yeah. A study on patients with chronic pelvic pain, a condition totally driven by inflammation, found an 89.4% effective rate with acupuncture. And here's the kicker. As their pain scores went down, blood tests showed the levels of those inflammatory cytokines went down right alongside them. It's direct proof.
So what we're really looking at here isn't some kind of vague, mysterious energy flow. It's a really sophisticated, ancient technology that we are just now, finally, beginning to truly understand through the modern lenses of neuroscience and immunology.
And this quote from one of the research papers just nails it. The inflammation reflex induced by local microtrauma is a process that automatically limits inflammation. See, acupuncture isn't adding some magic substance, it's just a very, very smart way of flipping the switches on the body's own powerful self-healing systems.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we get better and better at mapping our own internal wiring, we might just find that a lot of these ancient healing arts aren't alternative medicine at all. They're just advanced user's manuals for our own biology that we're finally learning how to read. What else is out there? Just waiting for us to figure it out.